MyMedLeads is a web-based software. What that means is that anywhere you have an internet connection, you can access your account. So any terminal, any computer at the office, you can even access it through a tablet, as long as you have your login credentials, which is your username is your email address, and the password was given to you probably by the doctor, and that's how you access the account. There's a couple different ways to access the account. One is through our main website, which is MyMedLeads.com, and there is a customer login button top right, and that takes you to our login page. There's another way to log in is through email notifications. You guys might have seen these already, where a lead comes in, you get notified, and there's a link on there to where it allows you to log in through the notification. And everything that you do, whether it could be through the main site or through a notification, it's going to take you to this page. So what we suggest is that you save this to your favorites so that every time you come to it, it's always there. Or if you need to get to it quickly, you can just go to your favorites. And also you can save any information on your browser so that you can get in quickly rather than having to add your information every time. Two browsers that we suggest you use, one is Firefox, the other is Google Chrome, and that's going to give you the best results as far as your internet session, your functionality, and so that you're not seeing different things. Sometimes if you use Internet Explorer, that's one that's not very good with softwares and JavaScript, and so you'll see something different in maybe Internet Explorer than you would in Firefox and Chrome, and it's not correct. So we always suggest that you use those browsers. Once you log into the account, you can stay logged in, so you can minimize your tab, you can do that kind of thing. It keeps you logged in, so you don't have to continuously log in. You can just, like I said, minimize, and if you want to go back to the account, you can just open your tab and you're ready to go at that point. Even if let's say you get notified and you're already logged in, you can, through your email, you see, oh, I got a new lead. You can just go to your tab, open it, refresh, and your lead will be there. And just to explain kind of the way the leads are coming in, we integrate with your website. We also integrate with Real Self. And when potential patients go into those forms that are on those sites, and they filled out their contact information and any questions or comments that they have, and they submit that, our system automatically populates a lead and notifies you. So you have that information already in the account. There's no data entry, and then you can manage the lead within MyMedLeads. Now, if you're getting notified directly from the site or from Real Self, what we suggest is that you create a folder in your Outlook or however you're receiving leads, and just set up a rule to where those automatically go into that folder. And if you need to access that folder, you can go in there to cross-reference, or for whatever reason you need, you can do that way, so that you still have a way to checks and balances on stuff coming in. So once you log into, if you log in through the main site, you're going to come to the home page. If you log in through a notification, it actually takes you to that lead or patient's information page. But what we're going to do now is just kind of go over some of the pages that you're going to be working on, and just kind of give you an idea of what's on every page. There's some stuff that's on every page, just so you have an idea of how things work. So what you're looking at here is what we call the home page. It's where the funnel's at, and at the top right of your page is a date field, and it always defaults to 1 year. You can change that just by selecting the down arrow, and it gives you pre-selected options to choose from, or you can go to the bottom and choose a customized beginning and end date if you wanted to, select a custom range. And basically what that does is it changes to that date range on whatever page you're on. So an example on the home page would be, let's say 6 months down the road, you've got your funnel full of leads and different statuses, and you want to look at last week's leads. You select last week, and the funnel will actually change and drill down to that time period so that you can focus on that if you need to. Same thing with any other page. If you're on the View All Leads page, or it'll drill down to that as well. So that's the date field. The search window is where you can search leads by name or phone number. And it's just a quick way to get to leads, by name or phone number if you need to get to them quickly rather than searching the account. And it's an Ajax, so based on what you're typing into that field, it populates leads by what you're typing in. So the more information, the first name or phone number, it'll bring up that person and you can quickly go to it. This is our navigation menu, and it's on every page as well. You've got your home page where we're at, your View All Leads page. That's where all of your leads are located from the date of the activation of the account, leads coming in. And we'll go over that page a little bit. View Reports is where you have access to reporting, different reports. Support is where you can create support tickets for us and the team. If needed, you can also contact me. So I'm your point of contact. The support is just if you're in a hurry, you're already in the account, you want to do that, you can do that as well. And then the preference page is where you have access to preferences within the account and also user preferences for yourself as a user. You can go in and change notification preferences. You can add text messages. You can add, there's things that you can do in there. You can add a signature, things like that. And we'll go over that quickly as well at the end so you can see how that works. So to go over the funnel real quick, you do have the ability to create leads manually in the account, and that's the enter lead button here. And I'm actually going to create a lead and go through that, so I'll show you that. But I want to go over the statuses. Pretty self-explanatory. You have new to procedure completed, and the idea is to work these leads down the funnel based on the status, and from new to procedure completed. And it just works down as you move through the lead and the process. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and create one and kind of move through it and explain them to you as well. So below the funnel is a not qualified list. So the system allows you to deem leads not qualified for whatever reason. Maybe they're, you've tried to contact them a bunch of times, and maybe it's a marketing email, or maybe it contacted them, a bunch of times and they're just not responding. Different things like that, and I'll show you how to do that. But it's just a way that the system allows you to remove leads from your management cycle so that you don't have to continuously see them, and you already know that they're not qualified, and you can remove them and actually remove them without deleting them completely. Your to-do list below is where hot leads, when they come in, they will have a fire next to it. So it's just another way the system notifies you or lets you know that a new lead has come in. Also, there's scheduled tasks of things that are call to actions, follow-up lists that appear in your to-do list. Also, consultations. If you've moved leads from scheduled to consult completed, the system will send you a list that basically asks you what happened on these people's appointments so that you can move them down. So there's different things like that that are in the account or in the to-do list. Also, you're able to set reminders in the account that will remind you via email and text message, and those will also appear in your to-do list. And I'll, through when I create a lead and go through that, I'll show you that, set a reminder and how that works as well. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and create a lead. So I'm going to select the enter lead button. It opens up a quick menu that allows me to enter information. So you would first select lead source, and if you need to add lead sources to the account, that is also will appear on your preferences page. So I will show you that here in a second. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and put my name in here. and get this information in. And I'm just going to choose random numbers. And phone 1 and phone 2 is basically home and mobile. Phone 1, home, mobile 2. And so when you put them in here, now when you're putting leads in, it needs one contact information, one piece of contact information, meaning you either have to have a phone number or an email, or it won't let you put anything in. Just won't let you put names. It needs to have some type of contact information. And then in the comments is where you would put any information based on your phone call, or however you received the lead. If you have any information, you can put that in, and it goes into the system as a patient comments, like it would off of a comments box that's on your website. So that's what that field's for. And then below the button, Save and Proceed button, there is a box that basically gives you results of similar leads that are in the account. So it doesn't allow you to enter leads in that are duplicates. So an example would be somebody came in through your website a couple days ago, they filled out a form, you contacted them, they didn't answer, and 2 days later they call back, they talk to somebody else, and you go to put them into the account, and you can see at the bottom that they're already in there, and you can go ahead and just go to their page rather than putting them back in the system. So that's an example of that. At the top of this page, there's 2 options, Manage Lead Now and Enter Lead Only. The only difference between these two is basically Enter Lead Only notifies other users in the account that there's a new lead in the system. So Manage Lead Now, you know what's going on, you're going to follow up, you've handled it, so and it defaults to that. Enter Lead Only, it offers a date field and a minute and a time field where you could, let's say you had an event over the weekend and you have 10 leads, you want to put them into the system and you want to post date them last Saturday. And I don't even know if post is the right word, but you want to put them back on that date, you can do that. And basically then when, the real date that they came in. You can always just enter them in as Enter Lead Only. It's just going to date it today and that time, and it's not going to notify anybody. So that's the difference in the two. So I'm going to do Manage Lead Now just to do this for training. So I'm going to hit Save and Proceed. And what that does is it opens up and it moves me into what we call the patient information page, or lead details page. It basically is where all the information is. It's where you're going to do most of your management of leads. It has the different fields that you can fill in, specifically contact information. Any patient comments is in the patient comments box. So if I was to get notified, let's say from the system that I have a new lead, I log in, I actually log into this page. The first thing I would do is look into the patient comments and see if anything is asked specifically, or any questions or comments that they have, so that I know if I do talk to them, I know exactly what they're looking for and any answers I can have for them ready. So at that point, I would then place a call, and you notice that you have phone and mobile here. The middle 3 are hidden. This is for verification purposes. So if you need to verify somebody's number, you can do that. Once you place a call to them, you would select the Call Now button. And what that does is it opens the phone number so you can see the phone number. You would then pick up your phone like you normally would and call them. And based on what happens on the call, the system asks what happened on the call. And that's below the buttons here. There's a contact status. You have the patient answered, we left a message, and no contact was made. It's below the delete, cancel, and send email button. And based on the call, you would select one of these. So let's say we left a message, and I hit save, and that stores in the history that what happened on the call. You can also see I'm logged in as Angie. It does the time, the date, The system knows you're logged in through your credentials, logging into the account. So basically, you're creating a transactional history of follow-up for this particular lead. So you placed a call and we left a message. Now, at any time, you can add notes to the lead, and that's in the staff comments. And this is actually where you can put your cursor in here and actually type the patient comments. You cannot type anything in there. It's basically what's taken from the site, and then that just stays there. You can add comments in here and actually save them, and they go into as well into the history as a note. You can copy and paste notes in there. If you get an email and you want to copy what's on the email in here, you can do that. It'll store in the history as a note. You can do that, or you can type in and as many notes as you want, and it just expands the page. So don't worry about any of that. You'll also notice that the next thing we want to do, we've placed a call, we've added a note. You can send an email from the system as well, and that's the send email button. If I select that, it opens up a template that preloads the user email address, which is Angie, that's who I'm logged in as, and then also the lead or potential patient email address. And you can CC or BCC anybody. You can at this point type in your email or attach any files from your hard drive and send that, and that will go out. The system also allows you to store templates in the account that you can manually send out. So if you've got templates for maybe procedures, situations that are different, you can store those in the account, and once you get them in, you go to select template button here, and it gives you a list of all of your templates where you can load them into your email and send it out. Now, MyMedLeads is a one-way, so it's an only outgoing email. So you're sending emails from the system. It goes out as you. If they respond to your email, it comes back to your inbox, your normal inbox. So it's a one-way system. There's a couple different ways to create the different templates in the account. You can do it on this page by going to Create Template. You can also go to the Preference page and select Email Templates, and that will allow you to add those in as well. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and send this, just so we see how that is. So I send the email, it tells me email sent successfully, and it also posts in the history that an email was sent. And in the description is a clickable link where I can actually view the email. So if JoJo sends out an email and Angie comes in 2 days later and is going to do something with this lead, you can look in the history and look at the actual email that went out, see what was sent, if it was something, answering a question or something like that, or if it was a specific template. The subject will be the description, so you'll be able to see exactly which email was sent to them based on your knowledge of what's in the account that's saved. So one of these three actions, an outbound call, adding a note, or sending an email, moves the lead from new to follow-up. So at the top here, you can see there's a status bar. And this tells you where the lead is in the lead cycle or in the funnel. So it mirrors that funnel, so it tells you where they're at. Follow-up just basically means that they are in follow-up. They have not scheduled, and they need to be followed up. If you have exhausted your efforts in following up with them and they're just not responding, at that point is where you would make the decision to delete them as not qualified, to remove them from your management cycle. So another important piece of this page are the procedure options. So once you identify what they're interested in, it's a good idea to select the procedure. Two things are good for that. One, it lets you know when you're on the page. And then also if you're on the View All Leads page, procedure is one of the columns that is formatted so that you can see what leads are interested in what procedure. You can also sort that data by procedure if you need to. So it's important to make sure that you have the procedure box selected. You can also create automated campaigns based on procedure. There's a couple things that tie to that, so you want to make sure that you update that information if you can as quick as possible. So next to the send email button is a reassign lead, or reassign button, and the system allows you to reassign leads to other users in the account. So if you wanted to reassign a lead to each other, or to the doctor, or to yourself, meaning if JoJo was managing a lead and it was assigned to her, then and you wanted to take over that lead, you could reassign the lead to yourself. What happens is when the first user that manages a lead, outbound call, note, email, the lead is assigned to them. So you can see at the top, underneath the top right, underneath lead source, there's a user field, and that tells me that Angie is assigned to the lead. Now that doesn't mean that JoJo can't come in and manage this lead. You can cross-manage leads. So if JoJo was to come in and add a note or send an email, it would just stamp in the history that she did that action, but it would still be assigned to Angie. And JoJo would have to reassign that lead to herself if she wanted to take over that lead. And that's just, so whenever you hit the reassign button, it gives you a window that gives you the users, and you can even add a message, and also you can tell the system to notify you after a certain time period if that lead hasn't been managed. So it's just another way that leads won't fall through the cracks. And at the same time, you can notify each other if a lead needs to be, maybe based on procedure or situation. Somebody handles certain types of leads, you can reassign that to them, and it notifies them via email and text if you have text set up. So that's the reassign. So we've placed a call, we've added a note, we've sent an email, we've reassigned if we needed to. Next is the set reminder. So the system allows you to set reminders for yourself, and that is, for follow-up, for a reminder for yourself for whatever reason, you could do that. And the way to do that is to select the set reminder button. It opens up a window that you add in a subject and a date. And we just say Tuesday and a time. Save that, and it stamps in the history that a reminder's been set. It tells you in the description the details of the reminder, date and time. Over to the right, you have an edit action, which is there's an edit icon and a delete icon. So if you need to edit it, change it for whatever reason, you can do that. If you want to delete it, you can do that from this page. The system is going to remind you via email or text message, or if you have them both set up, that you have a reminder due. And it's also going to appear on the to-do list. So if I go back to my home page, you'll see now that there is a reminder under the to-do list under future reminders. It gives you a description and the user and where they are in the status, so whatever they are in the funnel. And again, this is where you can, they appear. So if you have 20 reminders for the next few days, or however many you have, they're in date order in your funnel, so you could actually come in for that day, go to your home page and look and see what you have for follow-up. You can access them through the name or the call now button and to go in and follow up with them, or again, you'll be notified. And so that you can do that, and that removes them from the funnel. If the reminder goes past due, then the to-do list creates another section that's called past due reminders, so that you can go in and see if you've not followed up with somebody. You can do that. And also there is a delete button over here to the right that allows you to delete them if you need to from this page as well. Same thing on the past due reminders. And everybody's reminders are on your home page. So if you both set reminders, they're both going to be there. We do that because our system is an open system. It's where you can cross-manage, you can access, everybody has access to leads and that kind of thing, so that if somebody's out or part-time or sick or, that kind of thing, the other person can come in and manage stuff. So you'll be able to see that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to my page and I'm going to search my name and go back to me so that I can manage that. And so now we've done pretty much of the follow-up information, or, the follow-up and creating a transactional history for follow-up. So let's say it's time to convert somebody to an appointment. MyMedLeads has a schedule console button where you can schedule. You select that. It opens up a window that preloads the doctor and the location, which is not in there. Okay, hold on a second. I'll select the schedule button to convert, and now I'll have a location. Then the doctor and the location will preloaded. I can go ahead and put in my date. I'm going to do a past date for training purposes, time, and it's just a start time. And then you have what type of appointment and whatever the procedure is. I'm just going to select one, save that, and what that does is it schedules it converts them to scheduled. It moves them down the funnel, and it gives me the date and time, so they're scheduled. So that is the way to convert them and move them down. So if I go back to my home page, now if you notice, now I'm in scheduled consult, and there's two more layers of the funnel to try to move them down. So based on their appointment, what happens on their appointment, if I go into the scheduled layer of the funnel, it gives me my past consultations. And what the system does once the date passes is it asks what happened on the appointment or the consult. And that's over here on the drop down. So you've got consult complete, procedure completed, no-show, cancel. No-show and cancel moves them back into follow-up, so that you can continue to follow up with them. And consult complete moves them down, and you can actually even go to procedure completed, which would move them all the way down to the bottom. If they come in and have a procedure on the first appointment, you want to move them down, you can do that. For training purposes, I'm just going to do a consult complete. I save and continue that. It removes me from the scheduled layer. So if I go back to my home page, now I'm in the consult completed layer, and it's the same process for this. So once they complete a procedure, you can move them down to procedure completed. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go in, and now if I go into this layer, I'm here. It gives me a couple options. It reduces. You can select procedure completed or not qualified. If they complete a procedure, or if they just never have a procedure, or maybe they come in and they're not qualified for a procedure, you can move them down, or you can move them to not qualified. If I select procedure completed, at this point I can even add revenue if you want. And what that does is it basically ties it to the lead source that brought them in. So if you're tracking a certain campaign, marketing campaign, you can get your return on investment for that campaign. So that's what that's for. If I select save and continue, it moves me from the consult complete to the procedure completed. So now that's the full cycle of the funnel from beginning to end. So now I'm in procedure completed. And as you notice, the funnel is always aggregating a list of leads where they are in the lead cycle. And by clicking on any of these numbers, you can access that list. You can change the date range and access that list for that date range, whatever status they're in. So the best way to use the funnel is to always know that that's an aggregated list of that system, And you can always be checking these lists to move them down. So you could go into one layer and say, oh, this person they've completed their consult or they completed a procedure, and you can move them down. The goal is to, keep your new leads at 0, that they've all been managed, and move them down to procedure completed. So that is pretty much I'm going to go back to my page here. And this page is pretty much gone over everything. So, you have an about the patient box here if you want to store information that is, so that you don't have to scroll down. You can, best time to call, any specifics about the patient that you want to keep there. That's a quick view. You can do that. It's just different for each practice what they use that for. So you're able to do that as well. So next is the View All Leads page, and that's the second option here in the navigation menu here. And this is where all of your leads are located from the beginning of the account. They're formatted, and they give you information based on, what's coming in. You can see the different columns. You can see what they're interested in. You can see the username. This page is where you can sort data. You can, by drop down, by lead source, by username, by procedure. You can create lists. You can sort the columns. These all sort as well. You can delete leads as not qualified in volume. It's just a great page where you can go in and manage and manipulate the data and, always have access to that information. Over to the right, there is a phone and email icon in the last option, and that basically tells you how many times the lead has been called or emailed. So it's a quick view of seeing how you can, or how many times the lead has been contacted. If you have an internal process of a certain amount of calls and emails, you can see that. But really this page is just, what it's called. It's where all of your leads are and where you can go in and manipulate, create leads. You can, just fool around, and there's different settings. Like here, you can see 100 leads at a time. Over here to the right, left, you can sort by the drop downs, that kind of thing. So you can access the leads through the names. So these here look like real self leads that are not completely integrated yet. So they're coming in kind of funky looking. But anytime you come in, you can always go in and adjust this information. But you'll see how this is going to work. You can see the interest and, what they're interested in here. And I notice you guys have already started to kind of manage stuff, notes and that kind of thing. So the last page I'm going to go over is the preference page. And basically the preference page is where you can make adjustments to the account. If you wanted to add procedures, add lead sources like we mentioned. So I'm going to go ahead and do a lead source because I noticed that Real Self's not in here. So if I go to edit lead source, which is the second option, and I just type in realself.com and select web source, save it, that puts it in my list. And now if I go back to the home page and go to create a lead manually, now Real Self is added. So if you want to add lead sources based on what you're entering in or what you want to track, that kind of thing, you can do that here on this edit lead source. Same thing with procedures. If you want to add a procedure, you can do that here as well. Over in the staff section is where, if you're logged into the account, you can go to the second option, which is edit staff preferences. And this is where you can add your signature. So what that means, if you send out an email, it'll automatically attach your signature to it. If you store templates within the account, if you put a signature on that template, then, and you have one here, it's going to have a double signature. So just know that if you put it on one, don't put it here. If you put it here, don't put it on the templates. You have your notification preferences down here, where you can activate your text messaging. Here's the different options that you can be notified for. And the way to get to this is just the preference page. and the second option, edit staff preferences. Now the first option is where it's where I went for locations. If I select that, it's where it shows all of the providers, users, locations. So you have that. If you want to add people, there's add new buttons to the top of right if you want to edit it. So if I wanted to add my mobile number, and I'm Angie, if I go to the edit button, I can put my mobile number in here and save it. I can reset my password if needed. And then this set preference button takes me to the notification preferences, but it's just the other one is a shortcut. So you can access it through that page as well. Once I get my mobile number in, I can select text messaging and get that if needed. Again, I'm just showing you how this works. It doesn't mean you have to activate it. If I go back to the preference page, you've got training videos that you can look at. It also takes you to our MyMedLeads.net site, and that is an informational and support site that has information and videos and stuff that you can look up and go over if needed. The desktop app is something that you can use it's a notification app that lives on your desktop, and basically when a lead comes in, it'll pop up and tell you that the lead has come in, whether you're logged into the system or not. And that is actually a clickable link, meaning the notification is, and that'll log you into the account. It does run off Adobe Air, so you have to go and download Adobe Air first, and download Adobe Air. It attaches to your Adobe Reader. Then you can come to your download desktop app, follow that process. Once it's downloaded, you see there's a green circle, a stethoscope in the center. It's our logo. That's the actual desktop app, and it gives you the options to log in. And once I log in, my login window appears at the bottom right, and this is where you would put in your MyMedLeads login information at your desktop. So then that's how the system knows when it pops up and you log in that it's you, and it will, track you what you're doing through the account. In the middle, you see there's email templates. Email templates is the option that we talked about. So if I go to that, you'll see it's blank because you have no template saved, but there's an add new button here. If I select add new, this is where I can create my templates in the account. You can put your subject, your body, you can attach any files, and then you name it. Naming it is how you know off a list which one you're looking for to download. You can save them as a draft if you're not done. If you're done, you can save and publish. It does require you to select a private or public option. Private is for your eyes only in the account. Public is for all the users. Where that comes into play is if you create a template that's customized to you, you want to save that for yourself, then you can do that. Or if you have more of a general template, meaning with not your signature or anything like that, you can save it as public to where everybody can use it. So basically I went over this information. What I would suggest is now you've got leads coming in. You'll see real self leads coming in too. Just manage those. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. With those questions, we want to make sure that you understand the system and have the full knowledge so that you're using it and it's helping you guys with your lead management and tracking and all of that stuff.